Hi, third grade. Let's get started on math. You should have already watched the introduction video. And we're going to start on lesson 4.6, the associative property of multiplication. Okay. So this is the second time we are seeing this property. The first time is when we saw it with addition, the associative property of addition. When the grouping of the addends is changed, the sum stays the same. So we have 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 2 plus 3 plus 4. But what changed was the parentheses. We can also call this the grouping. And when we change the grouping, the sum stays the same. Just like when we do multiplication. When we change the grouping, the product stays the same. So the associative property of multiplication states that when the grouping of the factors is changed, the product stays the same. And it's also called the grouping property. And when we mean grouping, we're talking about parentheses. Okay, so let's do a practice problem. Okay. Each car on the roller coaster has 2 rows of seats. Each row has 2 seats, and there are 3 cars in each train. How many seats are on each train? So let's circle what we need to know. Each car on a roller coaster, so each car has 2 rows of seats, and each row has 2 seats, and there are 3 cars on the train. How many seats are on the train? You can use an array. So you can use an array to show 3. So 3 is our groups because there's 3 cars. So we have 1, 2, 3. That's where the 3 is, the 3 groups. And in each group, there's 2 rows of 2. So we have 2 times 2, 2 times 2, 2 times 2. So that's why it says 2 times 2. And then we have that 3 times, right? 1, 2, 3. Well, the 3 stays the same, and then 2 times 2 is 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 seats on each roller coaster train. Okay, we can do the same problem. 3 times 2 times 2. 3 times 2 times 2. But we can change the grouping. So now we have the parentheses around the 3 and the 2. So now we need to do that first. 3 times 2 is 6. Here comes the 2. 6 times 2 is 12. We got the same answer. Okay, turn your page and let's keep going. You can also change the order of the factors and the product is the same, right? This is called the commutative property. So we can use commutative and associative. So here we have 4 times 3 times 2, 4 times 3 times 2. But see, look what's different. They changed the grouping. So this is the associative property. 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 times 2 would be 24. And 3 times 2 is 6, and 4 times 6 is 24. So we got the same answer. Let's look over here. They have 4 times 3 times 2, 4 times 2 times 3. So they switched the numbers. But so that's showing the commutative property. And they switched the grouping here, so that's showing the associative. Let's solve. 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 3 is 24. So it doesn't matter where the numbers are, or what group they're in, or which order they're in. We'll get the same product. Okay. So we're going to skip down here to number 2, and we're just going to practice changing the grouping and finding the product. So it says, write another way to group the factors and then find the product. So here they have 2 times 1 times 7. So let's write that again. 2 times 1 times 7. But this time we're going to change the grouping. So now they'll be around the 1 and the 7. Okay, let's solve. What is 1 times 7? 7. And now we have to bring down the 2. 2 times 7 equals 14. Okay, let's do it again. 3 times 3 times 4. So we have 3 times 3 times 4. But we're going to change the grouping. So instead of the 3 and the 4, it'll be the 3 and the 3. 3 times 3 is 9. And then we have to times that by 4 to get 36. Okay, number 4. 5 times 2 times 5. So let's write that down. 5 times 2 times 5. But we're going to change the grouping. Are we going to do the 2 and the 5? No, we'll do the 5 and the 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Times that by 5 equals 50. Okay, number 5. 3 times 2 times 6. Change the grouping. So now it's around the 3 and the 2. Parentheses always mean do first. So we need to do 3 times 2 first, which is 6. Times that by 6 is 36. Okay, number 6 is 2 times 2 times 5. And now we'll change the grouping. So 2 times 2 is 4, and we need to times that by 5 equals 20. Okay, last one. 1 times 3 times 6. Change the grouping. So now it's parentheses around 3 and 6. We always do this first. 3 times 6 is 18. Times that by 1 equals 18. Okay. Let's turn the page and keep going. So on this page, we're doing the exact same thing. You're writing the problem again, changing the grouping, and then multiplying. So what I want you to do, because this is on your own, let's do number 8 together, and then I want you to do 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 on your own. So you'll press pause, and then when you are done, you'll press play and correct your work. So number 8, we have 2 times 3 times 3. We'll change the grouping. So now we're doing 3 times 3 first. 3 times 3 is 9. Multiply that by the 2 equals 18. Okay, I'm going to press pause. So are you. When you're done, press play and correct your work. Okay, you should have done all the way through number 13. So now is the time to correct your work. If you made a mistake, all you do is fix your answers. So we have 8 times 3 times 2. So move the parentheses around the 3 and the 2. Now we do that first. 3 times 2 is 6. 8 times 6 is 42. Nope, I'm sorry, that's not right. 8 times 6 is 48. Okay, number 10. 2 times 5 times 5. Move the parentheses. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 5 equals 50. Okay, number 11. 3 times 2 times 4. Move the parentheses around 2 and 4. So now we do 2 times 4 first, which is 8. And now we need to times that by 3. 3 times 8 is 24. Okay, next one. 6 times 1 times 4. Move the parentheses around the 4 and the 1. So now we do 1 times 4 first, which is 4. Times that by 6 equals 24. Okay, last one. 2 times 2 times 6. Move the parentheses around the 2 and the 2. So now we have 2 times 2 is 4, times that by 6 equals 24. Okay. All right, we are going to move down here to 26 and do some word problems. Okay, number 26 says, what number sentence does this array represent? Write another way to group the factors. So we're looking at this array. Really, there are 4 arrays. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 groups, and we're going to times that. How many rows are in each group? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we know we have 3 rows times how many are in each row? 2, 2, 2, 2, all the way across. And we would put our parentheses around those. Okay, let's solve. Let's solve for this whole thing. Well, what is 3 times 2? 6. And then we would do 4 times 6 equals 24. So if we count all of these squares, we would get 24. Because how many rows are there? 4. And now we're saying we combine the 3 and the 2. So now there's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait, that's 8. But that's okay because we multiplied it. We multiplied the 3 times 2, which is 6, and times that by 4 is 24. Because there were 3 rows of 8. Okay. Okay, let's do another one. Okay. Jamal has 65 quilt patches. He makes 2 quilts with 5 rows of 6 patches in each quilt. How many quilt patches will be left over? Okay, so we know he has 65 quilt patches. Let's leave that alone for now and figure out what else he does. So he makes 2 quilts with 5 rows of 6. So let's figure out how much that is. 2 quilts with 5 rows of 6. So that would be 2 quilt times, because he makes two quilts times 5 rows of 6. So that's the math problem, because he makes 2 quilts and there's 5 rows, that's where the 5 is, of 6. So let's solve for this. Well, 5 times 6 is 30, and we need to times that by 2. Okay, so 2 times 30. We haven't multiplied a number so big like 30, but we know that any number times 2, we just double that other number. So that would be like 30 plus 30, which is 60. So we know this answer is 60. So that's how many he uses. But remember, he has 65. And the question is asking us, how many quilt patches will be left over? So now we're going to subtract 65, because he has 65, minus he uses 60. Well, that would be 5. So he has 5 left over. Okay, let's just do a few more and then you can start your homework. So on the next page, we're going to look at number 28. So we have a bar graph here. It's called roller coasters. Okay, we have cars per train. So like looking at this picture here, this would be like a roller coaster car. And then sometimes they're connected and then there'd be like another one, right? Or like one behind it. So that's what it means by cars per train. So on the King Dakar, there are 5 cars. On the Steel Force, there are 6. And on Mr. Freeze, there are 4. Okay. So Each car on the Steel Force train, so we're looking at Steel Force. Each car on the Steel Force train has 3 rows with 2 seats in each row. How many seats are on the train? Draw a quick picture. So there are how many cars per train? So there are 6 times there are 3 rows with 2 seats in each row. So that would be 3 times 2. Because remember, there are cars per train. That's 6 times 3 rows of 2. So it says to draw a quick picture. If we were to draw that, that would be 3 times 2, 6 times. So that might look something like this. 1, 2, 3. Right? That's showing 3 times 2. 1, 2, 3, 2. And it wants that 6 times. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 3 groups of 2. So let's solve. I'm going to write the answer down here. What is 3 times 2? 6. Times that by 6 equals 36. So if we were to count all of these cars or seats, we'd get 36. Okay. All right. Let's skip all the way to number 31. Clayton packs 3 boxes. Okay, that's something we need to know. He puts 3 lunch bags in each box. 3 lunch bags in each box. There are 4 sandwiches in each lunch bag. 4 sandwiches in each lunch bag. How many sandwiches does Clayton pack? So let's go back. We know he's packing 3 lunch boxes. So that's going to be our 3 groups, right? The boxes, 3 boxes, and he puts 3 lunch bags in each. So we know that's times 3. And then he puts 4 sandwiches in each bag. So then that's times 4. How many sandwiches does Clayton pack? So this is what our problem looks like because there are 3 boxes. In each box are 3 lunch bags, and in each lunch bag are 4 sandwiches. So if I were to draw this, like I'm going to draw 3 boxes, right? And in each box are 3 lunch bags. So that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then in each lunch bag are 4 sandwiches. So this is just a bunch of equal groups. So we know we can multiply to find the answer. Start with 3 times 4. Because we have 3 lunch bags in each box and there's 4 in each. So 3 times 4 is 12. And then we need to multiply that by the number of boxes, 3. Okay. If we haven't learned how to multiply a number like 12, but we know we can use repeated addition. So let's do 12 plus 12 plus 12, right? 3 times. Well, now we can count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, and then 1, 2, 3. So our answer is 36 sandwiches. Okay. All right, 3rd grade, now you need to do lesson 4.6 homework.